What is going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and today I've got an insane story for y'all that was sent in to me. Basically, this dude's stepdad ended up destroying his PC, and it's just a wild story time that I knew that you guys would enjoy listening to, and he sent it in, so why not tell it? Pretty nuts story, so before we get into it, if you don't mind pressing the like button, I'd really appreciate it, and yeah, without further ado, let's go. Alright, so I think anyone who's got a PC, would say that it's one of their prized possessions, not in a weird, no, my PC's gone way, but they're not exactly cheap, you know? And on top of that, they're pretty fragile, so I feel like most people who have a PC are don't want people messing around with it or throwing it around or anything like that. And they especially don't want someone throwing it down the stairs, but I guess this guy just got really bad luck when it came to the stepdad department. This guy's mom remarried to this dude, and right away there were some issues because he was the type of guy who was like, you need to be up at 5 a.m. out there with 6 jobs, otherwise you're a lazy turd. And listen, I'm not saying there's something to be said for having a job or having good work ethic. I think that's a big part of being successful, right? Is being able to do work even when you don't necessarily want to do it, but it needs to be done. That's important. But I think it's also nuts to have this idea that you should never have anything you enjoy. There should never be any fun ever. You should only work all the time, and anything other than work is a waste of time. Because if anything, the whole reason you want to get really good at work and get faster at it is so you can do more work in a shorter period so you can enjoy life even more, you know? Either way, they just instantly butted heads, and one of the things that they really butted heads about was this guy's PC. Now, this guy wanted to be a computer programmer, computer scientist, engineer, whatever you call it. I don't know the proper term. But that was his goal when he got older, so he was already into computers, and he would use his computer to study that type of stuff. He was already teaching himself how to code. He was doing some networking classes on his computer. And so he's on it a lot, and yeah, sometimes he would play video games on it because it was a gaming PC. It's not like that was the only thing he was doing. But his stepdad just couldn't understand that you can use a computer for something other than just goofing off and playing video games. And he would just nag him constantly about you're spending way too much time on that computer and it's gonna rot your brain and no wonder you're falling behind in school, blah, 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 blah. And what was annoying is he would make stuff up. The guy wasn't falling behind in school, but this guy would just be your computer's making you do all these things that he just wasn't doing, which has to be mad annoying, man. Someone's just oh, you smoking those cigarettes is making your teeth fall out. And you're I don't smoke cigarettes and none of my teeth have fallen out, but okay. And he would try to explain to his stepdad that I'm not always goofing off on my computer. I'm learning what to do for my future job. I'm teaching myself how to do useful skills. Not everything on the computer is goofing off. And his stepdad would just tell him that, no amount of hard work at the computer compares to real life hard work experience. But listen, Mr. Stepdad, I'm not trying to say you're dumb or anything, but even if he was gonna go get quote-unquote super real-world experience coding, he would just be sitting in front of a computer in a different location, man. It's not like it would change anything about how much he's using the computer. You need to get real-life work experience. Well, my real-life work, I hope, has to do with computers, so I'd rather do it in my room with the computer I already own. I don't know, man. I'm just not really understanding where he was going with that. I feel like teaching yourself how to code is better and then go get real work experience. But it'd be really annoying to go convince someone to give you a job and get real world experience when you don't know what they're doing. I don't think they'd take too kindly to that. Maybe tell your stepdad that. Oh, you want me to go get a job and immediately piss them off because I can't do anything that I was supposed to be able to do when I got the job? I don't think they're gonna go, we appreciate the follow through and you wanting to work here. They're just gonna fire you and probably be pissed at you for wasting their time and tell everybody else that you're just gonna waste their time. I don't think that's a good thing. But whatever, they would get into these huge arguments about it, and his stepdad also had the bad ability of never being able to admit he was wrong. And those people suck, cause everyone's wrong sometimes. I'm sure there's stuff I've done that's wrong, a lot of stuff I've done that's stupid. Everybody's got mistakes. It doesn't mean that you're always wrong. It doesn't mean that you're instantly some irredeemable idiot. But everyone's made mistakes, everyone's done stupid things, everyone's been wrong before. And if you say that you've never been wrong, then you're just delusional. But he would just get into these screaming matches with this kid about how he knows enough about computers to know that he's only wasting his time on there and there's no way he's wrong about it. Keep in mind, this guy's like pretty technologically illiterate. Like the fact that this dude was able to turn on his laptop by himself was a miracle. That's how bad he was with technology. So the idea that he's somehow some computer expert who can just instantly tell what you're doing the second he looks at your computer and he knows that you're just gaming all the time when you're just not doing it all the time would get really annoying. So it would obviously escalate and turn into a screaming match, and then his mom would have to get involved, which would make it even worse. Because then his stepdad's like, oh, you need your mom to come save you. Like, it was just a really crappy, bad situation. But whatever, he finally told his mom to like, just let him handle the arguments about technology because he could handle it himself. And his mom was like, all right, I know he's stubborn and I'm sorry about it. Like, even his mom felt bad about everything that had been going down and how it had been going down. And listen, I don't really know the dynamic here, but I feel like she should have probably done a little bit more to rein him in, because what happens next is just absolutely bonkers. His stepdad decides to make this rule for the house, which is basically that like you can't spend more than an hour a day on any type of screen, including your cell phone, including your computer, any of that. And obviously every kid in the house is like, that's just not gonna work because they're going to school online, so there's no way it's gonna be possible. And the stepdad's like, well, you're just gonna have to figure it out or go to the library or something, but I need to limit screen time in my house. Was just a nuts level of control. You hate them being on technology, but you're gonna make them like go to the library to finish their schoolwork. Oh yeah, man, you're definitely gonna make them learn their lesson about over-reliance on technology. It's not gonna backfire and make them like hate you for making life way more difficult for no reason. They have computers, but they're not allowed to do their schoolwork or anything else on them at home. Nope, not for more than an hour. Then they have to go figure it out. That real world experience sure is gonna toughen them up, Just don't be surprised when you're like an old man and you get put in the crappiest nursing home because none of them care enough to take good care of you. Why do my grandkids never call? Because their parents told them that grandpa sucked, that's why. Anyways, when he announces this rule, immediately a huge fight breaks out between everyone and the stepdad. Like all the kids, his mom's kids, like everyone's just pissed, right? And his mom's not home when he announces this rule, which probably was something he thought through a little bit because obviously she wouldn't have been cool with it. And they're kind of trying to reason with him about how it would be ridiculous for them to not be able to do schoolwork and like it's just a reality in the modern age that for them to work from home, do school from home, all that stuff, they need more than an hour a day. And he just keeps telling them that they're over-reliant on this and they need to go out in the real world and get some real world experience instead. And listen, I get it. I think if your kid is doing literally nothing but playing Fortnite for like 18 hours a day, yeah, you should probably limit how much they're allowed to do that. I know that like that might be an unpopular opinion, but if you're literally doing nothing but playing War Thunder 18 hours a day every single day for months, that's just not very healthy. Like you gotta have a little bit more well-rounded things. But that's not what's going on here, and limiting people to an hour a day isn't preparing them for the real world because, believe it or not, in the real world, people use technology now. Like, listen, when our parents were kids, yeah, it was reality that not everyone was using the computer all the time. Not everybody needed to learn how to do a bunch of stuff with technology. Video games were probably like a ginormous waste of time. There was no redeeming qualities about it other than just being fun. Wastes of time are okay to me. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to play video games. I'm just saying like I can get why boomers might not like it. But now, in the real world, everyone uses technology. Like, it's just a fact of life that you need to use a computer, you need to be able to use the internet. I think most places don't even hand out paper applications for jobs anymore. They just all tell you to apply online. So the idea that, like, if you just ban your kids from technology, they're magically gonna become millionaires because of all this real-world experience is just dumb. Because in the real world, you gotta be able to use it too. We're not gonna go back to the 1980s again, I'm sure it was cool. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't born. But, like, it's just not. And the idea that all technology is going to magically disappear is just crazy. Because, yeah, there's a lot of downsides, but it does make things a little bit more efficient, There's no denying that. But whatever, they're arguing back and forth with him, and he's just doing his usual maneuver of not backing down at all or saying that there's anything wrong with what he's doing. Just saying that they're going to understand when they're older, and trust me, one day they'll get it. And I don't think they're gonna get it. This isn't limiting them to like playing an hour of video games a day. This is literally making their lives substantially harder for no reason. And when they keep arguing with them, his response isn't to like keep arguing with them, it's to just say that everyone needs to go to their room. And he says it like screaming at the top of his lungs. And you know when someone's screaming and you're starting to sit in like the splash zone at SeaWorld? Shamu's gonna come out, do a double backflip, give you a little splash. Well, he's so pissed that he's spitting and basically everyone in front of him is getting the splash zone treatment. Just should have worn a poncho to dinner when dad was going to announce the rules. And so they get the vibe and they decide to go up to their room. And everyone's going up the stairs kind of being like, this is so stupid, blah, 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 blah. And the stepdad yells out as they're going upstairs that no one better go get on any technology and like, it's serious, no technology tonight, blah, blah, blah. And listen, up to this point, the stepdad hadn't really like been barging into anyone's rooms when the doors were closed or anything. And everybody was like going to go upstairs and get on their phone or do whatever. So the subscriber goes upstairs, closes his door, locks it, which was not unusual. Like he did this all the time. It's not the first time that he's done any of this, right? So it's not like he had any inkling that this was gonna piss off his stepdad any more than it normally did, which was not at all. And because his door was closed and it was locked, he went over, got on his computer, which was in the corner, and he wasn't going to get on Discord or anything, but he was just going to watch some YouTube videos. So he put on one earphone, like on the left side, just so that way he could hear the video, but he could also hear if someone was coming upstairs. And he just kind of starts watching YouTube. And he hears his stepdad coming upstairs, and he knows his stepdad's coming upstairs because he's just kind of like loudly complaining about the kid's reaction. Can't believe how ungrateful they are. They have all this technology and, you know, they just want to use it all the time. Well, yeah, I think that's kind of what happens when you buy people technology. Like, if you buy all your kids an Xbox and you don't like Xbox, don't be surprised that they want to play Xbox. Like, you bought him an Xbox. What did you think was going to happen? This guy just seems like he does not understand cause and effect at all. Like, if you explained anything to him, like you did X and Y happened, he just could not understand how they're related. What do you mean I bought my kids an Xbox and now they want to play video games? How is this my fault? It's like, well, if they didn't have a game console, they couldn't be addicted to playing video games, you know? And this guy's dad and mom had bought him this PC, not his stepdad. Like, his dad and his mom had agreed to get him a computer so that way he could learn to code and all this stuff. So obviously, he had nothing to do with this kid having his computer, but he had bought all the other kids' game consoles and stuff. And whatever, he starts kind of like going from room to room and knocking on the door and being like, what are you doing? And so this kid, obviously knowing that he's going to come knock on the door and ask what he's doing, puts his computer on sleep really quick, goes and gets in his bed and opens a book and pretends like he's reading it. And so his stepdad comes, knocks on the door, and then tries the handle, and it's locked. And instead of being like, hey, come unlock the door, his stepdad, who's already raging for no reason, instantly starts freaking out and starts banging on the door, just like an angry man trying to kick in the door, the Kool-Aid man himself coming in, and is like, open this door right now, I know you're on your computer, da-da-da-da-da. And the subscriber had just forgotten he locked the door. He did it all the time. It's not like it's something he thought of. When he heard his stepdad coming, he just went to cover himself real quick. He just wasn't really thinking about the door. And so he says, sorry, I'm reading a book. And he gets up and he runs over and he unlocks the door and he opens it. And his stepdad like flings open the door. And when he flings it open, it hits the subscriber in the chest. And he's like, relax. And the stepdad gets even more pissed about that and is like, you don't tell me to relax in my own home. What I do in my home is my business. I don't know who you think you are trying to tell me to relax when I know you're up here on your computer after I just explicitly told you not to be on your computer. You're way out of line, young man. You need to respect me, blah, blah, blah. And the subscriber just says, I wasn't on my computer. And so the stepdad goes over to his computer, and unfortunately, it's just the reality of PCs. It's a little warm. He was watching a video on like 4K, and he doesn't have the sickest setup, so it's a little warm. And the dad's like, well, why is your computer warm? And he says, oh, it must have been from earlier before dinner. I was playing a game. At that point, though, his stepdad's like, well, then turn it on, like take it off sleep. And at that point, the subscriber subscriber's like, ah, crap, I'm probably screwed. Because the second he takes it off sleep, he knows it's going to pop up with a YouTube video. It's just going to be like really obvious he was on the computer. But his stepdad's insistent. He's like, you need to take it off sleep now. So he does, and sure enough, the YouTube video pops up, and his stepdad starts screaming. You are such a rule breaker. I can't believe that you have no respect for the rules that I set in this household. Do you have any idea how disrespectful that is? I have half the mind to take away your computer. And at that point, he just tells his stepdad to get out of his room. He's like, you're not going to take my computer. You didn't pay for it. You have nothing to do with it. So you need to get out of my room. And that sets his stepdad off even more. And he's like, I'll get out of your room. But if I'm going to get out of your room, then I'm going to take what I think you don't deserve anymore. And he grabs his computer. And so the subscriber starts like trying to put himself between his stepdad and the door. And the stepdad kind of uses the computer to push the kid out into the hallway. And the way the house is positioned, they have like just this long thing of stairs. And at the end of the stairs is the front door. And his stepdad just starts yelling that he doesn't deserve this anymore and blah, 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 blah. And the subscriber is screaming, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, something I should have done a long time ago, and just throws the PC down the stairs. And on the first bounce, it hits about like halfway down the stairs, and it hits and the tempered glass just shatters. And it bounces like after that, because it didn't hit on the tempered glass, it hit like on the front where those front fans would go. And it hits there, tempered glass shatters, it bounces, hits on the like top corner, and that hits with enough force where the GPU breaks off the motherboard and it comes flying out. So now you know the PC's just donezo. Like the tempered glass, you'd have to get a new one of those, but you can get a new one of those. Your GPU breaks off the motherboard, probably a new GPU and definitely a new motherboard. At that point, you just gotta hope that the CPU's okay, but considering the state of the motherboard, you know, you just never know, bro. A very expensive fix though, and as it bounces the third time and gets to the bottom of the stairs, like perfect timing, his mom opens the door. And so the first thing that his mom sees when she opens the door is just this glass flying towards her and the computer bouncing, and it hits on the ground and falls over. And it's very obvious to like anyone with eyes at that point that this computer's broken. Even without eyes, man, if you heard this thing falling down the stairs, you would 100% know that it's broken, just the sound of it. And his mom is just kind of staring at this like broken computer at the bottom of the stairs that very evidently just got thrown down the stairs. And then she looks up to be like, where did this just come from? Because I'm guessing that was not on her bingo card of what she was gonna see when she came home from work today. I don't know. She's probably thinking, oh, they've probably eaten dinner already. I'm a little late to get home. Maybe we can still watch the Muppets movie. You know, the one where they sing the song, Am I a Muppet or am I a man? Like that one. That's probably what she was thinking she was gonna do tonight. Nope, she opens the door to a computer flying down the stairs instead. She probably sitting there like, what in the Nanny McPhee is going on? Objects are flying. We got some witchcraft and wizardry going on. The new Harry Potter movie that hasn't been announced yet. They're shooting on location. But when she looks up, she sees her son, who's like at this point in tears, pissed off, and her husband, his stepdad, kind of standing there, and the stepdad now has his jaw just dropped open. I don't know if he expected her to just never found out that he broke the computer, if he just did it not kind of thinking about what he was doing and now he realized the consequences of his actions. But either way, now his jaw's dropped open like, oh, I can't believe what just happened. Yep, like I said, didn't seem like he understood the whole cause and effect thing. Believe it or not, when you throw computer downstairs, computer break. I know, very, very complicated, all right. I tried to dumb it down, took out as many words as I could. I'll even simplify it more. Computer no downstairs. All right, like that's really all you needed to figure out to prevent this from happening. After you throw down the computer down the stairs, not, and I guess throw down with the computer too, whatever, that both would have worked. You kind of got to understand that it's just going to break. after you've thrown it is a little bit too late. You know, if this was an episode of Mythbusters, Buster would have exploded. This myth would 100% be plausible. If you throw a computer down the stairs, it will break. Who would have thought that the stepdad is a scientist? He's just out here trying to figure out the questions we all have, such as how durable is a gaming PC? Like, you know, Demolition Ranch, how he's just always blowing random stuff up. This is something on his channel. Like, we shot a gaming computer with a 50 cal. What happened? Well, it probably broke. That's what I would guess happened. His mom's standing there, though, taking in this scene, and she's just pissed. And she starts screaming immediately that, like, he just threw a $1,500 computer that he didn't pay for down the stairs, and what's wrong with him? Why would he ever think that's okay? It's not even his, it's her son's. He uses it for work and he uses it for school. Why would you ever break it? Like, are you kidding me? This is psychotic. Which, listen, at least she was pissed about it. I feel like I've had enough crazy step-parent stories submitted to me and, like, here on the channel where the parents just don't care. At least she's pissed, but it is also a little bit too little too late when it's already been thrown down the stairs and destroyed. But the stepdad is still stammering, but, like, trying to somehow maintain that what he did was somehow justified, and he's like, well, he was on it too much. Yeah, well, you know what's possible if he's on it too much? You could have just taken it away, or I don't know, like put some parental control on it. I don't know what you can do. I don't have a kid. That being said, I feel like throwing it down the stairs is not on the list of things I would feel like I had to do. Like, hypothetically, if I had a kid and he was playing too much Xbox, I'd put the controls on, and if that didn't work, then I would just take away the Xbox. Last on my list would be pick it up, throw it down the stairs. Like, that would just never be on my list of things to do. Cause, I don't know, I paid for the Xbox. Like, aren't you messing up yourself? Maybe that's why he didn't. He didn't pay for the computer, so he's like, whatever, I'll throw it down the stairs. Anyways, his mom's response to that, like, pathetic attempt at justifying it is to just go off on him, saying that he's a moron and she doesn't understand why he has this, like, weird beef with technology, but it's here to stay, so we might as well just accept it instead of pretending that the world's gonna go back to the way it was. Which, listen, is very true. That's what I was saying earlier, man. Like, even if you don't like technology, it's just a little bit too late to be on this train of I'm just never going to use it. Like it or not, it's just a reality that, like, some stuff requires technology in the modern age, especially just to exist in society. You know, oh, we live in a society, but, like, yeah, bro, life's just way easier if you have a computer. I'm sure technically, if you really wanted to do it completely off-grid, completely offline, I'm sure there's ways to do it, but, like, if you just want to make life easier on yourself, just embrace it, you know? Especially if this guy's got, like, a normal job. Imagine trying to be this guy's boss. Hey, man, will you write up the report for me? Sure thing, I'll write it up with my pen. You're like, can you just type it, please? You have bad handwriting. Nope, I don't do laptops. I refuse to use any technology. If you're gonna do that, just, like, go be Amish, you know? I feel like you're just being Amish with a bunch of extra steps and, like, oh, I'm gonna have my cell phone, but, like, I hate gaming computers and I'm gonna throw them down the stairs. Either way, the stepdad and the mom go into their room and they're having an insane argument, and about an hour later, the stepmom comes and is like, hey, can I talk to you? And he's like, yeah, of course, because, you know, it's his mom. He's gonna talk to his mom. And she says that she really wants to apologize. She knows that computer meant a lot to him and he had no right to destroy it, and she doesn't know what's gotten into him and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I get it, but I still don't have a computer. Like, it's still destroyed, and I appreciate the apology, but, like, what is this guy's issue? He can't be doing that. This is what I want to do with the rest of my life. You can't just throw my stuff down the stairs all the time. Like, that's ridiculous, you know? And she says, yeah, they talked about it, and he's never gonna do it again, and he agreed to get you a new computer. And the kid's like, yeah, but, you know, like, a lot of the parts that were on that computer are old now. Like, I don't know how much it'll be to get them, and da-da-da-da-da. It doesn't seem fair that he destroys my computer and then just, like, has to get me in a replacement. I feel like he, like, owes me an apology as well. And she says that he is going to apologize, and she said that he will also get him any computer he wants. And at that point, you know, he's like, all right, well, my stepdad destroyed my computer. If he says he's gonna get me any computer he wants, I know what I want. So he's like, all right, well, I'll pick out the parts then because I need to get it ordered so I can work on my stuff. And he goes online and he builds an absolute beast of a PC, bro. I'm talking like an i9, whatever, blah, 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 3090 Ti, just like the most overkill computer, 128 gigabytes of RAM. And he goes in and he shows his stepdad, and his stepdad's like, this is so expensive. And he's like, yeah, and you could have prevented yourself having to buy this if you wouldn't have destroyed my computer. Which, listen, I think asking for a 3090 Ti, was he probably taking advantage of the situation a little bit? Yeah. But at the same time, bro, you wouldn't have had to buy him a new computer if you didn't throw his old one down the stairs. This all could have been very easily prevented. You could have stopped yourself from being forced to buy all this stuff, but nope, for some reason you threw it down the stairs, man. This one's kind of on you. Overkill 100%, but at the same time, throwing it down the stairs was also overkill. So whatever, they order all this parts, it gets there, he builds it, and his stepdad gives him this long apology about how, like, he needs to have more respect for him, and he's really sorry for it, and da-da-da-da-da. And it was a lot of really good words, but he could tell his stepdad didn't really mean it, and it was more of a, like, his mom, sorry, not my mom. You know, the kid's mom was like telling him what to say to him, if that makes sense. Like, oh yeah, you need to say this, and this is why this is important. Like, he could just tell that none of it was actually any of his original thoughts. But whatever, he just accepted it to make his mom's life easier and had his computer. And after that, his stepdad just kind of stayed out of his way, so it worked out. He realized that, like, oh, I can fight him on this all the time, but it's just gonna end up with me having to buy him another computer, so no thanks. Either way, though, horrible that the kid had to get his stuff thrown down the stairs. Like, at least this one kind of had an okay ending because he got a better computer out of it. But, like, what is up with step-parents being nutter butters, man? Like, I don't have any. But that being said, bro, is it normal for them to just be, like, breaking stuff? I feel like so often I get stories sent into me where people throwing stuff down the stairs and whatnot. Like, this just seems, like, exhausting to try to live with. I know you guys probably don't have much control over it if you got them, though. That being said, hopefully your guys' step-parents are a lot cooler than this. And, you know, if you, like, kind of don't like your step-parent, at least they're not throwing your computer down the stairs. There's always that. You gotta look on the bright side. Either way, I think that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd appreciate y'all taking a second to press the like button. And if you really enjoyed it, go ahead and comment the word computer down below. It just helps the video do better. I'd really appreciate it. And beyond that, you should also subscribe if you're new and turn on those notifications. I post videos like this every other day, sometimes every day, depending on the grind season. But, you know, I told you guys I was gonna get back to the long videos. Hopefully this one counts. We're at like 27-ish minutes. So hopefully this one kept you guys entertained. Like I said, if you did, comment, like, all that good stuff. And if you want to listen to the story times, but you don't always want to watch them on YouTube, you'd rather listen to them, blah, 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 blah. I do post the audio versions over on Spotify. You can check that out. There's a link to the Spotify down below. I post them like a day after, so you can always catch them on YouTube first, but if that is something you're interested in, feel free to go check that out. And yeah, beyond that, I think that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys all next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.